Hi, we're back again, and our first guest this morning is Ken Percival, an author. Ken, nice to meet you. I'm so glad you came in.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, and are you a sort of a recent writer, or have you always wanted to be a writer?
Always wanted to be a writer.
You know, when you're little.
Yeah, and it's I've produced several books,
Oh.
and Gypsy and Me is the newest release that I've had, and I publish it through a company called Bellevue Books.
Oh, Bellevue, that sounds interesting. A lot of us are on Amazon now, you know, but so it's interesting that somebody is on something else.
Well, yeah, the books are available online, so wherever you shop for books, it's something that you can purchase and write online.
What are the name of the other books that you wrote?
A Himalayan Benediction is another one, sort of a historical fiction, but mostly I like to write fiction.
Do you?
This most recent book, Gypsy and Me, is focused on satiring everyday life, kind of a mix between something like the way that Modern Family is written and the humor of somebody like a Stephen Colbert.
Well, that's got to be not too easy to do.
It takes a lot of practice to write the story, and then besides just doing the editing and getting the punctuation and the grammar right.
Well, that's a big one. It was funny when I first started writing. I thought that I would look up all of the research stuff on the history, but my fictional people, I thought, well, I just do whatever I want with them. First thing I found out, no, they gotta be historically accurate too. So it's a job to write. People think it's easy.
It takes a lot of time. This particular book, I spent about 3 years in writing it. There's a central character who is somebody that meanders through the book. Not necessarily the strong leading character that you might expect to focus on in a story. And as the reader gets into it, they start to find several other characters that they might root for and enjoy.
Oh, that's interesting. I like the idea of your person going through there just to there's something there in hot light. I don't want to get the word out to enlighten the people in the story.
Yeah, the characters really look at it kind of satires in a way the choices that we make every day. Recently, I had gotten some useful information, I guess, from Google. It was shared in a training that I had attended that during a day, average adult in the United States makes 35,000 decisions in a day. It's unbelievable, sort of, to think about that we make that many decisions. And I didn't know if I bought that exactly, because it seems 35,000 seems like a lot of decisions to make in a day. But, you know, if you think about it and driving the vehicle, and there's a lot going on in our subconscious, I think. I think that's what it says about us.
Well, we form habits, you know, we can get into just like when we're driving, usually we're just doing it automatically.
Yes.
That's why sometimes if you start to thinking too far away from what you're doing, you can have an accident. But, well, I think we all do it.
Yeah.
Just have our subconscious drive for us.
But part of the story is really talking about how the decisions that we face every day, and it kind of makes fun of the fact that we make a lot of decisions that are yes and no decisions. Those, it's yes or no. Yeah, I think of my kids when I think about decision making. It's easy to tell them, no.
Yeah. Oh, that comes more often, huh?
Oh, yeah. And so it covers topics that are sometimes really hot topics, just in terms of the current issues you can think of during a presidential campaign. So there's a little bit of politics mixed into this, and it's current affairs and current events. It kind of takes a different perspective on it in a fictional way. But the humor kind of cuts to the bone. It does get kind of close to reality.
Well, I think we need humor. You know, we've got enough reality.
Oh, yeah.
So this is fantastic. Let me show the book. This is called Gypsy what?
Gypsy and Me.
Gypsy and Me. I didn't take time to read. I think I'm not awake yet this morning. Anyway, tell me a little bit more about this.
Well, it
book.
starts off in a faraway place, Oranzi, Italy, fictional town, and it's on the Mediterranean. And so the main character finds himself there. He's somebody that got hooked into timeshares, and you're probably aware of all the timeshare offers that are always out there. And so part of that story is he got into a timeshare, and it took him to this place in Italy that has two major celebrations a year. One of the celebrations is loosely translated as Running of the Rabbits, and it's called the Canigli Corriente.
Wow.
And so one of the first scenes that you find this guy in is how he's gotten enmeshed into the Canigli Corriente, the Running of the Rabbits. It's a fertility festival that the town uses to promote all the things that they do in their community. And so it's a starting, kind of a humorous scene, maybe something like you'd see in, a comedy.
That's
And
great.
really, I wrote this in short scenes, almost like a screenplay. So it's one of those books that it takes a second or a third pass through to make sure that the reader captures all the little innuendos, I suppose you might say.
Yeah, so it's something you've got to think about when you're reading it.
Yeah, it's meant to be fun, but at the same time, if you take a second or a third read of it sometimes, there might be something new that you'll notice.
Now, my husband's a good one for reading books over and over. He's a reader, 24 hours a day practically. Anyway, where can they get this book again?
So it's available through the Facebook site on Bellevue Books, and there's a link directly to it from there. And you can purchase it through BarnesandNoble.com and Amazon.
That's great. And what is the really thing that you think is important that people should share this book?
Well, I think it brings humor out. After the recent elections and everything that's been in the news, it's time to take a step back and take a deep breath and realize that, when we make decisions, it's easy. We get in a path of making decisions, and maybe stop and think about some of the decisions that we make every day.
That's very great. I'm so glad you came in, Ken. And do come in again if you get another new book coming out. Come in and see us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. We'll be right back.
There are rivers that flood their banks, undercut their soft edges, tear up the landscape, and carry their debris like upraised swords in a battle as they hurtle seaward. In contrast, Peter Richards navigates life as a meandering river mind as he floats along on its serpentine currents through the peaks and valleys of everyday obstacles. The journey removes him from his light life's orbit and into one with further purpose